is one of the most popular drinks in the world. It is a brewed drink prepared from roasted coffee beans, a major export commodity, especially to the developing countries, a top agriculture export for numerous countries, and is among the world's largest legal agricultural exports. According to legend, ancestors of today's Oromo people in a region of Kaffa in Ethiopia were believed to have been the first to recognize the energizing effect of the coffee plant, though no direct evidence has been found indicating where in Africa coffee grew or who among the native populations might have used it as a stimulant or even known about it earlier than the 17th century. The current coffee production statistics report from the International Coffee Organization indicates the production ranking in the following order: Brazil being the topmost with 2.8 metric tons, followed by Vietnam, Colombia, Indonesia, Ethiopia, India, Honduras, Guatemala, Peru, and Uganda at the 10th position. Uganda, as indicated in this report, is one of Africa's major coffee exporting capitals, shipping millions more beans abroad probably than any other country on the continent, alongside coffee powerhouse Ethiopia. Uganda exported roughly 3.6 million 60-kilogram bags of Arabica and Robusta coffee in 2015, generating about $450 million in revenue. This year, Uganda's exports are headed towards an all-time high, according to the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. But Uganda's coffee consumption is appallingly low. Last year, Uganda consumed just 3% of the coffee it produces. Ethiopia, meanwhile, regularly produces much more coffee than Uganda and has managed to drink half of all the coffee they produce. As a result, analysts claim Uganda is missing out on hundreds of millions of dollars that it ships overseas. By drinking just 10% more of the coffee it produces, Uganda could add 7.7 trillion shillings per year to the national economy. While it's not certain that drinking homegrown coffee would add quite that much to the economy, the Uganda government is engaged in several efforts to support local domestic consumption of coffee. The Uganda Coffee Development Authority, an agency overseeing and promoting the coffee sector, has made efforts of ensuring that Uganda takes more coffee. It's on the basis of this bothersome poor coffee consumption trend in Uganda that we are going to discuss coffee in general, its economics, consumption, and health. NTV, in partnership with the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, brings you Mr. Edmund Kananura, the Quality and Regulatory Services Manager from UCDA, and Dr. David Nini, a passionate enthusiast of coffee consumption, an accomplished doctorate academic in chemistry and applied sciences from Columbia University, USA, and the manager of Strauss Research Laboratory, Virginia Commonwealth University. Join this programming extension on our social media platforms and on VDTV. You are welcome. Thank you, our viewers, for joining us and for following that particular introduction about this subject that we're going to discuss, the coffee consumption aspect and the health that it contributes to our human life. And I'm very grateful that you have already joined us in this discussion before even we start it in this studio. I'm on Facebook, and we have posted on our Facebook page, NTV Uganda. Uganda is one of the leading producers of coffee in the world. However, the consumption of coffee in Uganda is still low. Where do you think the problem is? Rather, where do you think the problem is? Yeah, that's the question, even on Twitter. So let me just cite out about 3 responses that so far have been brought in, and then I go into the main discussion to be addressing these very questions or these contributions. Bernard Odida says that there is no problem, only you can't take more than a cup of coffee the way we can gallop 5 bottles of now beer. But it's steady progress. Then I have Matthew Mwesigwa, who says, I think coffee is expensive, or thought to be so, and therefore few people would demand for it. Besides, it seems to be much more expensive to produce and put on the market. And those are issues, some of the issues that my panelists in the studio are going to address. Lastly, let me get Andrew Wandera. He says that typical farmers aren't interested in value addition. What is easy for the selling of beans is fairly average, and because the quality in Uganda is pretty poor. And so, right now, let me proceed straight into the main discussion. My panelists are already here. a resplendent indeed couple of panelists. And on the extreme end, that is Mr. Edmund Kananura, as I introduced, and he's the Director of Quality and Regulatory Services, Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Edmund, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and in the middle here, I have a distinguished scholar and a great enthusiast about coffee consumption, Dr. David Nini. Doctor, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right, so let me start with Edmund. Edmund, what's Uganda Coffee Development Authority mandate? Because we've been talking about it, and you're the ones who we're partnering with to have this discussion. Let's first have an understanding of what Uganda Coffee Development Authority does.
Uganda Coffee Development Authority is a government organization that was established by the Parliamentary Act to oversee all the coffee activities in the country. It has several objectives, but for this particular show, I'll just link it to consumption. It has an objective to promote coffee consumption and also to ensure that all the coffee meets international standards. There are also others like ensuring that the farmers get good prices. So UCDA is basically taking care of the coffee produced in Uganda.
All right. So
yes.
You deal with the consumption, promotion, with the marketing, with also ensuring that the standards are heeded too.
Yes.
Where are you located, and how do you operate, just briefly, how do you operate in this realm of especially coffee production?
UCDA has a structure. Our main head office at Ginger Road, plot 35. And we have regional offices. We have 5 regions.
That's your vision?
The northern, the eastern, southwest, and also the central. We also have an office that handles exports, that is based at Rugogo Showground. This one handles all the exports, the analysis, certification. Yes.
All right, great indeed. And we're going to talk more in depth about the whole issue concerning coffee and as regards to UCDA. So, Doctor, you seem to be extremely passionate about coffee consumption and coffee itself. The ranking of coffee production puts Brazil at 2.8 metric tons of coffee production. And Uganda is literally in the top 10, which is quite commendable, and that's a good job, either to UCDA or to the entire public of Uganda. So just get us understanding and interested in what coffee really is and how valuable it is to the human health.
So after 4 years in this business, I can tell you that coffee is one of the most intriguing fruits that known to us. It is rich in nutrients, rich in polyphenols, rich in fibers. So as a drink, it is not only the second that is consumed by men after water, but it also has a lot of nutrition that, based on all the research we know today, is good for you. It used to be that people thought that coffee is bad for them, but now all the research that is known to us indicates that coffee is good for you, and it's being said by health organizations all over the world. Now, the beauty of coffee, that the green coffee has probably 150 ingredients in it. Once you roast it, it turns into a rich in flavor and aroma components, which, based on last counts that I know, comes to almost 2,200 different components. So that's the complication that you have with coffee, and that's the beauty of it. So based on the roasting technology, based on the type of coffee that you have, you can create a very, very interesting and healthful beverage. That's the beauty of coffee. And it provides a lot of support for many, many societies around the world.
Okay, great. So in contrast to other beverages, why would the coffee bean itself be so unique that it is consumed to such a level in many economies, And of course, in contrast to others, they prefer much more of the processed beverages like beer, like sodas. What is the contrast in that? So
coffee has three major ingredients, nutrients in it. One is caffeine. Caffeine is known, it has a lot of health implications, positive health implications. Then it has antioxidants. Antioxidants are the fighters against, so to speak, terrorists in our body. Now, when you have oxidized material, the antioxidants basically neutralize it and prevent inflammation and prevent degradation of DNA and other ingredients, components in the body. And then it has sugars, it has calcium, potassium, those type of nutrients. So all in all, it's a product which has a lot of nutritional value, and because of that, and because after roasting, you create so many components that the interaction between some of them, caffeine and others, or polyphenols and others, chlorogenic and others, has a lot of processes, or starts a lot of processes in our body that prevent, for example, diabetes, prevents many types of cancer. And also, lately it was known that people who drink coffee are less susceptible to dementia, like Alzheimer, Parkinson's disease. And this is documented. It's not only in certain type of societies. It's documented and it's researched. And now people also understand the mechanism by which caffeine and other components prevent the initiation of this dementia processes in our mind.
Okay, so absolutely. I will come back to you about the issue of caffeine because it has some sort of intricate controversy about it. Edmund, so what's the economic potential of coffee to a country like ours? Of course, the latest statistics from your very organization, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, shows that in this recent October and November, we had exported a total of 617,060 kilogram bags of coffee beans, of course, quite contrasted to the same period last year, which was about 472 bags. And the world's big coffee exporters still ranking Brazil at the top, Vietnam, Colombia, Indonesia, Ethiopia, and Guatemala, of course. And right now, Uganda is the 8th in the exportation of coffee. We want to understand how this is an economic power gold, literally, to the greater betterment of our economy as a nation and nations like ours. What's your take on it?
First of all, I would like to mention here that coffee is the second commodity worldwide traded next to oil. That ranks coffee as an important crop to this nation. Number two, for example, last financial year, Uganda exported more than 4.6 million bags. And this one, it was translated into a foreign currency that came into this country, more than $500 million. And this one means a lot to the nation.
More than $500 million US?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And when you go to the grassroots, Uganda has about 1.7 million families who are living on coffee. What does it mean? They are earning from coffee, and the money they get, it's what they use for school fees, for their health treatment. So to me, the economic importance runs across from the farm level to nationwide. So the coffee has a lot, it contributes to this country, especially generating the foreign income. And this foreign currency is used for many, many things that happen in this country, especially the balance of exchange.
Yes.
So, which is very, very important. So I think that summarizes the
Yeah, true.
Yes.
Okay, so thanks. We will continue with that, the economic importance and how you encourage people actually to...
And maybe to add on,
yes.
1.7 million families, if you take an average of maybe 5 or 6 people, you are talking of more than 8 to 10 million people in Uganda living on coffee.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you indeed, Edmond. And Doctor, now, what I need to talk about is a bit of caffeine, because there's a controversy that it has some elements. But even before I come to that, coffee is purely cash crop, and normally people find it not nutritionally substantive, in as much as you've given all these sophisticated scientific paraphernalia of the benefits that are embedded in a coffee bean. And of course, you mentioned that coffee can help you burn fat. Caffeine can drastically improve physical performance, lower your risk of getting diabetes too. But it doesn't seem to be nutritionally reliable, because I cannot take coffee independently and exclusive of any other kind of food, and I get sustainable living as an individual. So there is a deficiency of actually your positivity about coffee.
First of all, you cannot take coffee as food. Coffee is not food.
Yes,
coffee is a supplement, basically, if you look at it. It's a beverage that you drink.
So it's a supplementing and what is the supplementary benefit if it cannot sustain?
Okay, now what's the benefit of it? Coffee has so many ingredients in it.
Yeah.
And roasting is creating so many ingredients in that. That it turns the coffee to basically, some people said it's almost like a medicine.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's more medicinal than actually nutritional. Is that what
it's no? It's nutritional because, for example, source of potassium. It's a major source of potassium. In the United States, coffee is the #1 source for polyphenols, which is polyphenols is very, very important in your diet. Since people drink at least 3 cups a day, between 3 to 5 cups a day, so the major source of polyphenols in the United States is coffee. In fact, in the United States, where I lived there almost 30 years, okay, people drink coffee almost like water with meal. Now, there was the myth that coffee is causing all kind of problem, or the caffeine is causing all kind of problem. The myth came basically because of the fact that they didn't distinguish between coffee and other lifestyle. For example, people smoke, people drink, and then they drink coffee, and people, doctors or experts associated all the ills to coffee rather than other things. Eventually, research shows that if you follow people without smoking, only coffee, it's good for you. There's nothing bad with coffee.
Okay, great. I will continue with the same kind of dialogue on that controversy, but also to continue propelling the fact that coffee is a good crop, both economically, health-wise, and all other issues. So when I come, I'm going to go for a break. Edmond, I need to come back, and then you help us to understand how we can improve Uganda's coffee consumption. Yeah, and thanks our viewers for keeping with us. It's an interesting discussion, and it's online. It's on our Facebook page and on our Twitter. Please go there and supplement your contribution about this discussion before we will invite phone calls, and I'll be back after this short break.